Okay, I'm not seeing it. Let's go back. Okay, there it is. All right, hi. My name is Marsha Wilbur, and I'm from Norwich, Connecticut. My sisters were born at Bacchus. My father was in the Marine Corps and moved back stateside and drove 3,000 miles home from California. I've done it twice from Arizona. 1998, finished my computer science degree here and went back to Arizona because jobs here were not really sustainable as far as I could see, or they didn't pay me as well as what I could make somewhere else, so why would I stick around for that? And then recently in 2022, I drove from Arizona to Connecticut, to my hometown. So both were very different circumstances. I was still a mom in both cases, but now I'm a mom of adult kids. And anyway, it is what it is. So we always had a sense of pride about this town. Of course, that was before these casinos came in. So let's talk about that, okay? I lived in Arizona and I lived in Las Vegas. So I know what it's like to live in a casino town, but only like Sin City, right? Like not like here. I mean, it's still pretty bad, the things that go on over there. And I'm seeing a lot of the same things. Scammers trying to sell you jewelry. All the like, oh, I have a house. You want to rent it? Okay, here you have to put down a deposit or, application fee. And you'll never see that fee again, trust me. I mean, but those things happen in the city too. I just wasn't expecting it in a town of like 40,000 people. The drug use here is like so much. It boggled my mind until I realized, oh yeah, you have a casino and another casino. What better place to launder your cash? Or maybe that's why we have so many car washes. Just look, when you have more car washes than you have Dunkins, that's an issue. Unless the Dunkin' is inside a gas station that also has a car wash. All right, so I'm just gonna do this podcast, and then I'm just gonna get everything out there. I have already disassociated with one of the Facebook groups because they just like to shoot the messenger and misdirect people. And so I'm tired of their toxicity. And they're just so old people, it'll take them a decade to find this YouTube podcast. I'm an old person too. My heart can't take it. Okay, so last night there was a shooting at Pistol Pete's. It came across the scanner as shots fired, victim in bathroom, gunshot wound, victim in bathroom. Okay? Then about 10 minutes later, they said, is it confirmed about the victim? Now, when you're listening to the scanner, you're just like hearing what they say. When they say gunshot wound, victim in the bathroom, well, that's what they said, right? So it's really on anyways, I'll get to the bottom of that. So then I see it on Homebrew News too, gunshot wound, victim in bathroom, same thing I heard. So then I go on Facebook and I'm like, shots fired, gunshot wound, victim victim with gunshot wounds in bathroom, whatever the verbiage was. And people were like, okay, who's the victim? I'm like, I don't know. Well, it turned out the victim was the toilet and the sink. But there was a man found, and he was conscious and alert. And so, you know. But the way it came across the scanner, yeah, you would totally think it was already confirmed until like 10 minutes later, after posting, it said, is this confirmed? And I was like, oh, let's see how this plays out, right? And I've been listening to the scanner for the better part of a year. And, I don't usually get, Pistol Pete's bar shots fired, but I live right down the road. I heard all the sirens. And I was like, oh, I'll let other people know. And so today, someone came on there and was like, this isn't like why I finally left that Facebook group, because it has been a lot of bullying on there and negativity. Basically, he was like, get your story straight, right? And I was like, what's with the emotional garbage? Like, a lot of people here, it's the lowest emotional quotient I've ever seen. Like, I've been around a lot of people. I've been to a lot of places, right? I have never encountered so many defensive, emotionally low intelligence quotients in my life. Are you guys drinking the water? I don't know. So, it could have to do with upbringing or the casino. Lots of, I'm not going to say narcissists, but I am going to say narcissistic, codependent type of behavior. And it could be, anything. Could be alcoholism, could be drug addiction, mental illness, whatever. But he's like, get your story straight. So like a normal person, or what I'm accustomed to, I'm sorry, maybe that's not normal, what I'm accustomed to. Maybe this is normal in this reality. Would say, hey, you know what, there was no victim. We just want to make sure you got the story straight. If you could do an update, that would be fantastic. But what's happened here is, this is my belief. Okay, I could be off base. A lot of people thought they would get jobs at the casino, and that would provide for their families. So they didn't finish their education or even get one in the first place. And they don't work in a professional atmosphere. They work like slaves to the casino owners or the tribe, whatever. They're not treated with respect. They don't have a respectable income. They were never able to grow and start earning 6 or even 7-figure incomes because they saw this big, shiny light that looked like gold to them. It glittered like gold. And then they started working there. And they were handling all kinds of cash. And it was like a meat market with all the bodies. You know what? Didn't you stop to think? Did you go to church when you were little? Hey, open up a freaking Bible, okay? Isn't that the way it happens? And you people just fell right in. Some of you stood on your moral ground, and I give you credit for that. But how difficult would it be? It would be really difficult, right? I mean, there's no jobs, but there's this casino here. They obviously have money. So why do I have a problem with it is I see a lot of corruption. the least not being filling the streets with drugs. Anyway, it's not my town anymore. I wash my hands of it. I can go anywhere. I can be anything. I can go to Tokyo and live there for the rest of my life for free. I can go anywhere, really. I don't need to be here. But I came home because I thought I had a plank. But it looks like the wood got rotted. I'm sorry you think it's okay to work at the casino when you live here. But if you grew up here like me, and you left when you were 18, 19, and then you came back to this, hey, this was my hometown. I thought I was going to retire here. Why would I do that? Tell me. Thank God I'm not raising my kids here in the educational system. I wouldn't, not after what they did. Suspending a 4-year-old from kindergarten for playing on the playground when the teachers weren't supervising. And then finding out that the teacher was the bully. She was verbally abusing my son because he was left-handed. I never thought it would be this bad, but I guess I gotta find somewhere else to retire. Hey, how about Arizona? I already have a lot of friends there. I know where all the hot spots are. I get connections to go wherever I want. 35 years in the valley. Yeah. It's a better standard of living anyways. I'm sorry, Norwich. I had a community meeting today and nobody showed up. You talk a big talk, but when it comes time to walk, you can't even find your shoes. I didn't let this happen. You did. I don't really, other than just doing a podcast and talking about stuff, which isn't really doing anything, there's really nothing else I can do. But I wanted to come in. I wanted to help with the crime. You guys need a helicopter. I wanted to help with the education problems, which I have a history of, and I worked at Department of Education. I wanted to see if we couldn't tackle some of the housing issues. My family was home builders, and I want to make sure none of those homes were in blight, which it doesn't look like they are. And then I wanted to help with, what was the other one? Employment. When I first came, I started a makerspace in Preston, and the only people who came was this guy who had this intense laptop and job at Pfizer, who couldn't get his NVIDIA driver to work on Linux. And then a guy at the state who needed internet. That was it. And you know, the thing is, I think it takes time, like when you open something, to get the ball rolling, but yeah, that, and let me just say, if I rent, it's going to be in a city, and I'd rather own the building so that I don't find odd things where I have to call the landlord, who fell off a ladder and hit his head years ago. So that's all I'm going to say. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I met some nice people while I was here the last year. You know, I'm working for a company that makes the tours for Wall Street. So that's kind of cool. They drink scotch, and I haven't seen anyone smoke a cigar, but I imagine. So anyway, I don't really need to stay here. I need to be somewhere safe for my kids and my family. And even moving out to like Canterbury or Griswold or something, it doesn't matter. The heart of the crime will always be right here in the center, which a lot of people call the armpit of Connecticut. That Norwich is one armpit and New London is the other. To compare us to that in those terms, it's heartbreaking. But that's the reality. I want to say to the people who voted and signed off on gambling and lottery and everything back in 1980 something, it's unfair for every other generation after you, as that we were not old enough to vote. And I wouldn't have voted this way. If you say you didn't see this coming, even children saw it coming. You were greedy. You were hoping that there would be money there. You were hoping the casino would do what was right by the town. Are you serious? The first thing they did probably was put in a food court so that people wouldn't leave the casino. That's what they do. It's a casino. You think they want people to leave and spend their money in the town next door? No. I know you didn't know, but it's what happened. Then they brought in workers from other countries. Did you think you were getting good jobs there? No. And the ones who did, the slot supervisors or the floor managers, maybe security could end up as a cop one day or something. But as far as the money handlers, dime a dozen. You expect loyalty from a casino? Don't do that. The fact is, now we got all these transients, got all these problems, and I don't even know how to unravel all of that. I don't. So hopefully David will come in with his slingshot and get this Goliath, because a lot of other people tried and failed and were canceled, including members of town council who were good, honest people with integrity. I mean, here's the one thing, okay? A lot of people say I'm not seeing things in the right perspective, but from what I can see, the reason why Bacchus is so overloaded, and the reason why the police seem very short-handed by at least a dozen cops is this. Just a lot of money when you don't have a stable environment, right? Get extra budget for your services, for your toys. Is that what happens? Oh, you guys need a helicopter. I hope you get that. Because, okay, wait, hold on. Let's just hear me out. Hear me out. You had 8 kids fighting behind the Walmart or whatever because there was a keg party in Johnson's. This was just a couple weeks ago, right? Might not have been here, but let's just do a hypothetical. They start fighting, 7 or 8 of them. Okay, you are by the water and you now have to drive 5 to 7 minutes, maybe if you speed 4 minutes. Okay, a kid's gonna get messed up by then. Let's say you have a helicopter in the sky already because it's Friday night. And you know things go down on Friday and Saturday night. Okay? So you got one in the air. How long does it take you to get to that location? Maybe save a kid. And then the other one was the shooting last night at Pistol Pete's. So you got a helicopter in the air. You're going to find that guy a lot faster. And I've listened to the stuff on the radio where you're like, oh, we can't locate this guy. One time it was a white guy who was wearing a hoodie, who was fat, okay, overweight, whatever. And they tried to stop a skinny black man. Are you really freaking kidding me? I was so appalled. I wish I would have recorded that. That was actually like one of the first nights that I was listening to the scanner, and I was like, wait, so now they're chasing this other guy? They're not going to catch the real thief? Oh, it was a guy who robbed the liquor store over on North Main, next, like right around the corner from the Dunkin'. Yeah. Yeah, so they started chasing a guy who wasn't even the suspect. Meanwhile, the suspect's getting away. Helicopter. Just saying. On my next podcast, we'll be discussing education, and all of the controversies surrounding Chartwells, pre-K, the schools, superintendent, the Board of Education, and also asking for the resignation for one of the board members, at least one. Stay tuned for Norwich. 7 roundabouts, 7 car washes, 7 deadly sins. Until then, I'm Marsha Wilbur, and I'm out of here.